Welcome back to the My Team career mode on F123 for the Spanish Grand Prix here with Iceberg's iRacing. So today we're up to 92 AI, which means we're only 3 AI away from being what I was running at last game. Now, I've historically hated the Spanish Grand Prix. I always qualify okay, and then always drop back in the races loads of positions. I just never have race pace or consistency around this track. However, on one lap, I'm able to turn it up. Not sure why, but it is what it is. But here we are on a practice session with a pretty solid lap. So in terms of development, I think we are now the 7th best team at F1 with only 14. No, there's 3 teams behind us, so we are the 8th best team. Yeah, we are the 8th best team. So yeah, and in terms of constructors and stuff, I mean, we have more points than McLaren and Alpine, but they're going to be able to develop faster than us and be faster than us. So for us, it's a case of beating Alpine and McLaren in the constructors for 5th, because Aston, Alonso's going to carry them too much for me, and Stroll's going to get fringe points every race, whereas I'm fighting by myself. Alpine have got 2 fringe point scorers. McLaren have Norris within like the top 7 every race, plus Piastri doesn't get points. So for me, in terms of drivers battle, it's me versus Norris. That's the guy I've got to worry about. Whereas in terms of the constructors, it's Alpine and McLaren as units that I need to worry about. But sometimes, you know, in F1, you can fight as much as you want, but some things are just inevitable. So yeah, and I feel like this weekend, no matter how high we qualify, we are bound to fall down some positions. This lap's even been quite scruffy, to be fair. I mean, it's not even been that good. I mean, we're on like 18 kilos of fuel, so I'm not actually too shocked, but you know, what did we set? 16.5. Bloody hell, was bore. But yeah, here we are into, oh my bad, I'm not even hyped up. Here we are now into Q1 for our first lap on a fresh set of soft tyres, getting to learn this car under quality conditions around this track. So obviously this lap's going to be quite poor. We've always used 2 new sets in Q1. However, from now on, I'm probably going to use 1 set in Q1 and try to get through over 1 lap. And if I bottle it, then it's just funny, isn't it? It's just funny that I've bottled it and been knocked out. Could make for a good content in the race. And yeah, so not too bad. But this lap was quite scruffy. I think we're going to end up setting a 1 minute 14.383, if that's correct. I'm a genius. 3.36. Oof, I was close. So yeah, not too bad. And we are P9 with that lap ahead of Gasly, behind Norris. So that's kind of where we need to be in our drivers and constructors battle. So yeah, we're aiming for 5th in the constructors, and we're aiming for probably around 10th in the drivers standing. So we need to be doing quite well. And then I'd say next season we should be pushing towards the top 3 maybe, or just staying in the same place and maybe consolidating, but having a good teammate with us as well. And here we are to cross the line. Are we going to make it into Q2? Yes, we are. P8. We gain 1 position, and we end up setting a 1 minute 13.8. Yeah, 1 minute 13.8. So a 5/10th improvement, so we take that. And then we head into Q2. We are on the set of tyres we just used at the end of that Q1 session. We're going to see what we can do with these. Right. So far, it's actually been a pretty okay lap. So we're putting together a pretty solid lap. We're already... Oh no, actually, my bad. This is the improved lap on the improved set of tyres. So the delta you're seeing there is compared to the set of tyres I used at the end of Q1. And this is my brand new set for Q2. So we're currently in P4.15. We have to get this lap in to make it through. Are we going to? Well, we're currently 4.5 temps up. Maybe probably up with a 5 temps up. And we are currently 6 temps up on the time of show. So I was struggling a lot with the middle sector, the first corner of the middle sector, that left-hander. And I was also struggling with the fast right onto the back straight, and I was also struggling with the final sector. So for me, it was just a bit of a struggle. Without that hairpin there, I was no longer able to like cut chicanes and gain time on the AI. So I was struggling a lot more, especially in race pace, but also quality pace. But my sector 1 has always been good around this track. I've always loved sector 1. It's just a nice little smooth sector. But there we get P5 with a 13.7. So it's a 1/10 improvement over Q2. And I'm pretty sure my Q3 lap, this is the first lap on a worn set of tyres, but I'm pretty sure my best Q3 lap, it had potential for a 13.4 or 13.5, which means it would have showed good progression, but I think in the end we actually went slower than our Q2 time. But I think we qualified quite well because, I don't know, the AI seemed to only use, like, have glitch times and use worn tyres and stuff in Q3. So that means they underperform in qualifying, but, you know, it is what it is. We're not going to worry too much. It's not really my concern, so just it is what it is, you know. So whilst this plays, and how as we head into the important lap onto Q3, as the timer ticks down and qualifying is complete, this is the last lap, obviously. Let me just check something on YouTube. Get ready to watch something. We'll watch that. Right, here we go. So sector 1, as always, really solid. I mean, we are doing pretty well in the first sector. I mean, we lost a little bit of time there, but ignore that, you know, irrelevant information. I mean, we're taking the sector quite nicely. We get a lot of time through that left-hander, which is one of the corners I struggle with, as I said. And then we also struggle with this one compared to the AI, but we were able to take it flat there. We're now up to 7/10 improvement, probably going to be 7.5 by the brake zone. And then this sector as well, we struggle with, we go wide on this corner a lot. And then this corner as well, we struggle to get the power down as early as the AI. Maybe it's a lack of downforce. And then onto here, we're coming up to the line. We are currently 1.1 up, and we drop a 1/10.5. So give me a 1/10.5 on top of what I get. I mean, we somehow get P6. We should not have been P6, but no, it is what it is. And yeah, so we actually went slower than Q2, but we were about 1 more 1/10 off actually setting what we were meant to, and that would have put us P5.
Welcome along, everyone, to sunny Spain, specifically to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. So many great moments in Formula One history have been written at this very track over the years, including Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari back in '96. That win was in the rain. We might have better weather here today, but we're just as overjoyed to be at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and we welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector, shortening lap times and reducing the total running to 2.9 miles and 14 turns. This was actually the original setup for the track, but it hasn't been used since 2007. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. George Russell will begin today's event in pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Iceman, Gasly, Sainz, Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Stroll, Joe, Perez, Albon, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Hülkenberg, De Vries, Sargent, and Théo Pourchaire. That's it then.
Well, the regulations are...
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Right then, boys, here we are for the Spanish Grand Prix. We're going to take a little bit of fuel out. We're going to run a very regular, medium, hard strategy this week. So, yeah, no softs because our tyre wear's not good enough for that. And no hards because our pace is not good enough for that. So, yeah, off we go for the formation. I swear I brought a drink upstairs. Random out of context bit, but I swear I did. And I just didn't, apparently. So, yeah, here we are. Obviously, we gap the rest of the field on our formation lap to just take it normally on race pace, see what it's like. And we get a 0.4 gap to the grid marks. There's a pretty decent entry there. We've got Leclerc on softs, Verstappen on hards, Sainz on hards. So if you're asking me what I want to be doing off this start, trying to force our way past Leclerc and sailing past anyone on hards ahead. That would be my aim. But whether we actually do that or not is another question. But here come the rest of our competitors for this weekend. Here we are for the Spanish Grand Prix. Somewhere which, you know, Mercedes seem to be having a very good weekend. And somewhere in which Ferrari would love to get a win. And also Verstappen's in a battle for his championship and he's only P3 on hard. So let's see. 5 red lights for the Spanish Grand Prix. Danny Ricciardo's back in real life and it's light out. And away we go. There's multiple lights, not one light. But there we go, we get a brilliant start. Hamilton was on hards, Russell's on hards, Verstappen's on hards. My oh my, everyone's on bloody hards. And that's why we get such a good start compared to everyone else. Leclerc got boxed in by Hamilton's poor start, plus the fact he's on hard tyres. Russell's lucky with the fact that he's so far ahead of me. If I was like P4, I would have overtaken him for the lead there. But now we've got Max Verstappen all over the back of us, and already you can tell this race pace is not that good. As we come on to lap 2, and Verstappen's already gone sailing past us on the straights. There's nothing we can really do about that. Maybe we could stick with him, but the pace difference from my car to theirs is incredible. And the only reason we're actually like up here is A, overpowered starts, and B, the fact that I'm not yet on the same AI as last game. I reckon by the time I get up to date and in a rhythm on most tracks on this game, I reckon we'll be on like 100, 103 AI. I reckon we'll be up there because I tried 100 AI at the end of last game, and yes, I was slower, but I tried it at Silverstone, so I was able to just stick with the cars around me with DRS and stuff. And even there, I was racing like a Haas with an Alpine. Like, they're not that big of a difference on the R&D chart for that lap, for that game. So it was actually, no, I was not too much slower than 100 AI, but I reckon we should be on 100 this year. We're already on 92, and I reckon when we get to, I think next is Canadian Grand Prix, but I reckon when we get to like Austria or something, if I've got really good pace at Austria like I did last year, and have most years, then I reckon we'll be whacking it on 95 at least at Austria, because I don't want to be winning that Grand Prix in a backmarker car, well, in a bottom of the midfield car. So that's just not really realistic. But Hamilton overtakes us into the end of the third sector. We've got Science on the back of us. We're going to use a bit of VRS, and we're going to use the slipstream and the DRS on Hamilton, and we're going to switch from right to left, go around the outside and make an easy move, leave Hamilton some space, and regain P4. And I actually did this for a few laps. I was letting Hamilton overtake me into sector 3, and then I was just waiting for the DRS straight, which is so overpowered, and re-overtaking him. So that's really all I need to do. As you can see there, Hamilton was able to get the power down so much earlier, more grip and stuff on his hards and stuff. It is what it is. But as you can see here, coming off the exit of this corner, I am 7 tenths back from Hamilton, and I've not used much ERS. We're using a little bit now, and we're just rapidly gaining. We're going to go down the inside of Hamilton. We're going to brake. We're going to try outbrake Hamilton, but he outbrakes us with his superior car. We're able to squeeze him out on the outside. We're not able to get up back into P4. So are we going to keep this battle up on to lap 6? Yep, Hamilton's overtaken us again. Are we going to be able to keep the battle up this time? Again, Hamilton getting on the power so much earlier than me. We have a little step out as well. He's now 7.5, 8 tenths ahead of me, so I don't reckon we'll be able to re-overtake him. But even with DRS and even with Slipstream, Carlos Sainz is only a tenth behind us. We don't have a chance of keeping that man behind. We're not going to waste our ERS on it either. Are we going to be able to hang with Sainz potentially? I don't know. But Sainz again is a bit slow, so we're going to go for the re-overtake on Carlos Sainz. And we re-overtake him into turn 1, squeezing him out on the outside and regaining P5. But Hamilton now is gone, unfortunately. And coming on to lap 7 now, we've got not only Gasly, who's overtaken Sainz, we've got Carlos Sainz himself, both of them only a couple of attempts back, and we've got a massive train behind us. And here comes Gasly, and here comes Carlos Sainz around my outside. I should have done a bit better with the defending here, but there's nothing really can do. All we can do really is sit and watch and hope that maybe one of them makes a mistake and we can get around on the outside or the inside potentially. But no, these two are hanging it really well, and we aren't able to re-overtake them. And now moving on to lap 9, end of lap 8, start of lap 9, we've got Carlos Sainz and Gasly 2.7 and 1.7 seconds ahead, and we've got Alonso 2 tenths behind. And the man we need to keep behind, Lando Norris, he's only 3 tenths behind, and we've got a massive train behind us still. But here comes Fernando Alonso in his home Grand Prix on the back straight. Is he going to overtake me? Yes, he is. Is Lando Norris and Sergio Perez. What's he doing down here? Both of them looking for moves as well on my inside and outside, but we have to brake really late in order to avoid contact, and we do, and we are able to keep P8 at least. But Alonso's gone. And now we've got Norris and Perez behind us. Both of these guys should be overtaking us realistically. Here comes Lando Norris. Now we're going to have to try use the slipstream of Lando Norris and some ERS to stay ahead of Sergio Perez. Here we go. We're going to just go for this gap. If you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. 3 wide. We get contact from Norris, contact from Perez, and we are squirrely on the exit. And we've still got Perez now trying to go around the outside. We are really in a daze right now. We've got Perez all over us now as we've made contact multiple times with both drivers around us. Perez now on my inside. Are we going to be able to squeeze him out on the outside? No, he's got superior traction, even on hard tyres. We're going to have to send it down the inside, but Perez has superior braking. We're going to keep the nose in anyway. Are we going to be able to squeeze Perez out on the exit? Yes, we are. Incredible stuff. And now we're going to box going on to lap 11, almost hitting the wall and getting damaged, but fortunately we didn't. I hate that pit exit. I'm awful at it. But there we go. And we are on like 50% worn tyres, but we're going to be boxing now for a set of hard tyres. My pace has been awful so far. I doubt it will improve much even on hards, but you know, sometimes you just got to hope in this sport. And yeah, maybe we can do okay. But you never know. Here we are, on to lap 19 of 23. We have been overcut by Magnus. There's been a retirement in this race. I'm not sure who's retired. I think it's... no idea. But it was a car ahead of me. I think it might have been an Alpine, potentially. But not 100% sure. But we get overtaken by Stroll. However, we've got the DRS and the ERS. We're on Lance Stroll. We're going to go from right to left. We bait him out. We go onto the grass. Shades of Sebastian Vettel on Bottas, and we get the move done, but this time on the outside of Lance Stroll. But Magnussen overtook us, undercut us, and overtook us. And here we are on Lance Stroll again, going right to left, faking back the left and going to the right and down the inside, even before the braking zone on Lance Stroll, leaving him to fight with Esteban Ocon, who we do need to keep behind us. Gasly's still in this race, but we need to keep Ocon behind at least. Coming now on to lap 22, we go wide there. Will it give us a better exit potentially? I don't know, but that's actually a pretty decent exit from me for once. And we actually get a bit of a rocket off there with some ERS, but Stroll is still going to come for me. We need to defend this point with our lives, especially from drivers like Lance Stroll behind us in the championship and Ocon, who we need to keep behind us in the constructors with Alpine. So it's crucial that we defend for our lives here on these last two laps. And into the middle sector now we come. Are we going to get overtaken again? No. Ocon seems to be maybe too far behind, but we have a really poor corner. Is Esteban Ocon going to be able to re-overtake? He's going to be coming now on the inside. Are we going to hang it around the outside of Esteban Ocon? We're going to try our best. The two pink cars going at it. Oh my, well, we've hit the back of Esteban Ocon. We were carrying too much speed through that first corner, and still we can't get the drive off this corner. However, we don't have a squirrely moment, and now we're only 4 tenths behind Esteban Ocon. Coming on to the last lap of this Grand Prix. We need this overtake to get points in this race. So here we go. ERS, slipstream, DRS on the Alpine with superior straight line speed. We go blasting past the Alpine to take the final point in this Grand Prix. And after such a scintillating but really commiserating and poor race from us, we get some overtakes done. We have some fun and we get a point to show for it. But there we go. That is it for this Grand Prix. It's not great. It was not great. I'll be completely honest with you. 10th is poor from 6th on the grid. But considering how slow we are, I mean, we had almost as bad pace as our teammate. I mean, our best lap in this Grand Prix, we would have only gone a couple of tenths faster. That would put us like bottom of the midfield kind of pace. Which is, yes, where we are. But normally with my AI level, I'm up there. My pace is like, especially over one lap in the Grand Prix, because we were going consistently slower than that, being attacked and stuff. So we were going so slow, but Max Verstappen wins, and I'm pretty sure it was a Mercedes who retired from the Grand Prix, if I remember correctly. However, I might not be. No, actually, we gained our position because Norris, who was right behind us, I think he ended up getting damage fighting with other cars behind us. But I reckon we'll see it in a second. So let's not worry too much. But congratulations to Max Verstappen, extending his lead in the championship, to be fair. So it is what it is. I mean, there's nothing we can really do to stop these kind of events taking place. I mean, we're in a midfield situation. We can't really affect the championship unless, like, you know, we're holding up Perez, which we are. But yeah, let's see. I want to see who retired, because I actually can't remember who it was. But I think it was someone ahead of us. It was Verstappen, Russell, Leclerc, Hamilton, Sainz, Alonso, Perez, Gasly, Magnussen, myself, Ocon. Yeah, no McLarens in sight. So maybe it was Lando Norris who retired from this Grand Prix. Was it Lando Norris? Poor chair finished 19th. Yes, it was Lando Norris who retired. He got ahead of me and he retired. So we stay ahead of McLaren in the constructors. In the drivers, we're ahead of Norris, Ocon, Gasly and stuff like that. And in the constructors, we are still ahead of Alpine and McLaren. I mean, that points gap is 20 points, but that'll get blitzed by like nothing if we keep having poor results. So that is all for the Spanish Grand Prix. Thank you all for watching. I mean, it was a pretty okay race. There's a lot of action going on, but for me in the cockpit / actually playing the game. It wasn't that fun because we just didn't have pace. And I'm pretty sure it's just a track thing and my issues with the track. But you never know, it could be a car issue. So we'll work hard on development and we'll see where we are next time out in Canada, which is a track I really enjoyed last game and one of the only tracks that I was actually pretty competitive on. So let's see what we can do and whether we'll have to bump the AI up.